Ella Stevens being so long and in depth. I was very impressed with that. You guys pulled out some really cool tricks.
Yeah, I mean, we practiced it quite a bit. I kind of remember, and it was, it was fun to shoot. It was a lot of fun, just kind of like going at it, and we did. So it was, I think the finished product it's a memorable death, and I still think I have the neck piece that the special effects guy gave to me, and it's in a plastic bag. It's somewhere buried in my garage. I got to find it, but I try to keep a little something from every film and everything that I've done, and that was the thing that I got to keep. He said, "Do you want your neck?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I had the scrunched neck that you see me at the table, with the ripples and everything else. But anyway,
Ryan, how much?
Yeah, that's really cool.
How much?
I did.
How much? What's the name number?
What are you talking about? You actually have that. I want it. If I find it, you will be the one that would get it. So yeah, Justin.
Okay, man. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't recall the fight. I didn't recall the fight scene being that long and that detailed. I remember the body slam and the hip toss, couple of things, but that was really impressive.
Oh, well, cool. Yeah, it was like I have not seen that scene in years. So it was long. I remember I was kind of the epic wrestling match with Granny. But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool, and it was fun to shoot. We had a lot of fun shooting this. It was like we did this all in under a month, if I'm remembering correctly.
Wow.
Yeah.
18 days.
Wow.
Yeah. At the end, it was
18 days.
For me and most of us, what that house was the location. We were there almost every day, and that house was in Hancock Park, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep. Beautiful home. I mean, a mansion. Sorry, not home. It's a mansion. But yeah, it was a cool, very cool location. Like the stuff in the house was like amazing.
Yeah, there were some real pieces of art in
managed
there.
to film that entire movie in just 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
18 days.
18 days. Well, we added a couple of days.
Wow, I'm impressed. That's incredible.
We added the beginning, so it was really 20 days.
Ryan, another question.
Sure.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
For the fight scene, the wrestling scene, did you all do your own stunts?
I was wondering that.
Well, there was a dummy, like a body double dummy that they made of me that you see kind of like at different points throughout the end of the match. But there, if I remember correctly, and I'm watching it, and I was like, I did some of my stunts because I've done stunts in films and stuff. But I think you guys, for the wall thing, I think that was somebody else because I don't think that looked like me. But I could be wrong. But I can't remember. I mean, it's 30 years ago. My brain's not remembering correctly. But when I was watching it, I don't think that was me. So that specific moment was a stunt person, I think. Luca or Sam, do you guys remember?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
It was some person.
Yeah.
I just want to know how Stella pulled off the drop kick. Good for her, man.
Don't take it wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I was just curious.
No. Yeah. No.
So, by the way, I said 5 minutes, and you guys decided to start the Q&A without me. Thank you. All right, appreciate that.
I didn't.
I'm just kidding.
I'm
totally kidding.
Yeah.
I just turned it on. I turned the camera on. I didn't know what I was doing.
Everybody just started naturally talking. I actually started recording just because I didn't want to miss any of this. So.
All right. Yeah. So I have kind of put together some stuff and kind of things I'm intrigued about. And obviously, too, please post in the chat if you have questions, things like that. We'll gladly go ahead, ask them, and be good to go. First up, Mr. Sherwood Jones. I am intrigued by your history and your past, sir. I want you to talk to me about 1985. And I want you to talk to me about Alien Outlaw and Dark Power.
Do you guys think that any of the other actors or anything are going to pop on? It looks pretty ghost town right now.
No, it's just us chickens, dude.
Hey, Luke, I got a quick question for you. How are you getting that beautiful background blur on your cam?
It's in the settings.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything specific?
I think it's
you clicked on blur.
Yeah, it's in the background on Discord.
Looks really good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep,
Can you see me?
Yep.
Can you see me? Hi.
Yep.
Okay,
But I
good.
see your hand. It's a little
I was having problems. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean, we can see
Is that Heather? Is that Heather?
Sorry, I have these ugly glasses on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
you're kind of it's sort of dark there where you are. But
Oh,
Can you turn a light on? We can't see you.
yeah. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
I can hear you, Heather, but I cannot
like a
see
hand
you.
and a fingernail, and that was like I was like,
Oh,
I think it's Heather. That's okay. Now we see
there we
you.
go.
Yeah, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
There she is.
Sis, how you doing, sis?
How you doing, bro?
Been a long time.
Great. I know.
Crazy. 30
Right.
years, almost 30 years. That's
I know. Sorry, I look like hell, guys. I know, 30 years. Wow.
unbelievable.
Crazy.
I just wanted to get back to that question for a sec. You're asking about The Dark Power and Alien Outlaw. Those were the first two features that I edited, and they were shot and edited in 16 millimeter. And that was, I'm originally from the Virginia, North Carolina area, and those two films were written, produced, and directed by Phil Smoot, who put these together. And ironically, Kino Lorber has just released both of those films in Blu-ray, and they're available in this cult horror film collection. They're like films number 2 and 3, The Dark Power and Alien Outlaw. And I also played one of the monsters in The Dark Power, ironically. But yeah, those were very low budget films shot in North Carolina. I think, believe it or not, the budget of The Dark Power, and this was 16 millimeter, 120 grand, and Alien Outlaw was 200 grand.
So the reason why I'm kind of asking this too, because, you know, segue, you're at 1985, 10 years later, it's 1995, you're doing the Granny, and then I think you end up working with Luca and Sam again, and you do the Chain. So besides me, I think you're the only other person who may have seen the Granny more than I have. So my
a lot,
next,
Justin. I never
yes,
seen
I have.
it a lot.
So my next question
came back to me. Every time I suddenly see a shot, I know it's going to happen in that shot.
is there stuff that you've edited that is not in the final release of the film that we've seen? Is there anything hidden? Is there anything you remember? Anything like that?
Luca may know better than I. I think everything was in there, right?
Yeah, everything was in there. I mean, listen, everybody bought on to, you know, and I'm talking about specifically initially Sam and the cast, and you know, the cast in total, and then later on Sherwood and Kendall bought into the madness of the Granny, and just really the collective whole made it the insane fucking potpourri of craziness that it is, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
that's actually a good segue of the crazy and the potpourri. I mean, we've all seen the intro video now because we're here for the show. When you talk about, oh, this hit too close to home, this was too real, like, you know, obviously there's some family dynamics of things that either of you two have gone through that played some type of prevalence in this film, no?
Yes and no. I mean, if we were goofing around, and Kenny would have gotten it because he grew up with us.
Who were
I don't
these
know if
real
you thought-
people we're talking about? Can you tell me
Jesus.
on camera?
You totally
You'll tell
got
me
suckered,
later.
didn't you?
I don't think I ever heard that.
Yeah, well, there's a reason.
Okay, so then, all right, so we have the idea of possible real life. So we have two writers. You both are listed as writers of the film. I know Sammy has, I don't want to use the word credence, but Sammy has, you know, several written scripts, things like that. Was it just a joint effort that you guys both wrote this and then just
It was
different
totally.
ideas for kills and that kind of stuff?
I'll tell you, this movie was. Movies are hard to get made, and this one was sold within 10 minutes of a pitch I did to another studio, and this studio said, yeah, we want to do it, and I said I would do it with my partner who I just did a movie with called Dark Tide, Luca Bercovici, who did Ghoulies, and basically she gave the green light in the room. I drove right over to Luca's house, literally, and went in and I said, "We're making a movie called The Granny. You've got to." I know, I knew it was for him. There was no doubt about it, and we talked about it a little bit, and then Luke, we sort of gave it a frame, and then Luca went off and wrote it fast, and we were trying to, we knew we had a lot of it was easy to sell. They're usually the other way around, but it was a very difficult movie to get off the ground because of the Shelley Winters thing and just the cost of it and that. So yeah,
So you guys
basically,
pitched before script? I don't mean to cut you off. You guys pitched before you had a full written script?
absolutely
Wow.
got the green light before we had a written script. But we were coming off a movie that had done well on the in the video world, Dark Tide, which was a big in the rotation, and also we had come off of Ghoulies and Rad, and so there, it was at a time that we were very in a place to do this, and from what I've read, I don't remember it exactly, but what I got an old copy of Fangoria, and this is true to a certain degree. The first buyer didn't go for it, but the second one did, and that was Trimark. And I pitched them on doing this like Leprechaun, 3 or 4 movies, build this iconic sort of crazy bad person, and that was it. They didn't want to give us the money to do it, like the entire budget. And so we walked away from them and sold it to Warner.
And what was the budget?
The real budget? The real budget was about $1 million, literally.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ryan took about half that, right?
I had one comment.
Residuals from the Granny, the VHS stuff. That not one, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, in those days they changed the whole structure because you can't really get residuals for a target market, and the target market was VHS, so you get paid for your work.
When things got my residuals.
What's that?
I said you definitely got my residuals. I think I burned the tape out of
my It was a little, yeah. I mean, but that was, things were going through many changes at that time, and the guilds were, doing their thing. They're not, they say you're getting paid twice, basically. So, and had we gotten a theatrical release, we would have all gotten residuals. It would have been nice.
Right. No, I understand.
I had one comment about. I think the whole thing about Shelley Winters was that we couldn't get her insured. Was that the case?
Well,
yes,
that
ultimately turned out to be the case.
Ultimately, though, we didn't. Now, ultimately, the truth is, we decided to not go with her because
that's what I thought. Because I remember hearing that she. Yeah. Different things. At first, I heard she had fallen and something had happened to her hip, and then I also heard rumors that she was maybe visiting Betty Ford Center for something.
I don't know about that, but I do remember Luca coming to me and going, "We're never going to get this made. We don't have the time."
We wouldn't have.
People talking about different possibilities of what happened
on an 18-day schedule.
Yeah,
there was no possible way that we were going to get her through that. I mean, Stella was perfect. Stella was there, right?
Oh, I know. She was so grateful. She was so grateful to have this role. You can't believe. I mean, she just. I can imagine how she just loved Luke and I, and like we're always, always did everything she could to help. The thing was, Shelley Winters at the time was the green light tool, so she had greenlit the movie for the studio.
Sure.
And so now what do? Like, as great as she is, Stella doesn't greenlight a movie. So Luca had just done a movie with Shannon, and we sort of flipped it. And she
Yeah,
actually greenlit
yeah.
the movie, and so she was also, unfortunately, not here, but she was such a
She was very popular
Player.
at that time,
Yeah.
and the films that she
No.
had been in at that point, yeah.
Yeah, but she, listen, let me tell you something. Shannon was a consummate professional. She was on time. She knew her lines.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted to stand in for herself. She was
Right.
like there 1000%. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like you can't ask, and this is true for all of you.
Yeah.
You know, Heather and Ryan, everybody,
Yeah,
you know,
all great.
Sandy, Brant, everybody was there, brought their A game, and had fun with it. And you couldn't ask for better. You really couldn't. There wasn't. I can't remember one kerfuffle from a cast standpoint. Not one.
Well, it was a good group. Everybody got along, and everybody just was
Yeah,
happy
you were having fun. I mean, it was.
you know, to do what we love to do, and it did. It had a family feel that we, you know, we're all coming together, doing this quickly, and just having a blast doing it. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun. I remember it was hot. It was hot, and I think it was in August.
It was in August. It was in August in Hancock
I
Park.
was sweating so much as if we were shooting the film. It was just constantly. I had tissues in the pockets, and anyway, and especially with the prosthetic makeup.
And the funny thing is, I'll tell you the story. So, a week into dailies, the head of the studio called me and said, "I thought you were doing a horror film." I said, "Yeah, we are." And that looks like a comedy. I don't want a comedy in a horror film.
It was a horror comedy. You know? It was dark humor.
Listen. They read the script. They read
the
script.
And
the script had all the jokes.
Yeah,
in
the
it.
script was pretty well written as the movie played out. Yeah.
You know, but to be honest with you, they hated the movie.
They hated the movie.
They hated it.
That gave the money to do the movie?
Yes.
Hated it.
Okay.
They hated it.
They didn't have good taste.
They hated it. They told me it was their worst earner of all the. This was done by a group within Warner Brothers that wasn't, really weren't a movie group. It was Atlantic Records, and that was funny. And then we did another movie because we had a solid 3-picture deal with them, and we did The Chain, which was our second movie for them, which turned out to be their highest grossing movie. So it was like, okay, you redeemed yourself.
This was going to always appeal to a certain audience, and the audience is there by virtue of the fact that here it is 30 years later, and we're here talking about the movie. But you have to work towards that audience from a marketing perspective, and they just didn't get it. They didn't get it. I mean, at all.
Yeah, they didn't get, and we shopped it to every theatrical distributor, and we had one bite, but it was just wasn't. Shannon Worry was still considered a soft actress, and so it wasn't. It didn't have what it took to get a theatrical thing. But one thing I think Luca will agree is that we had I guess as much of a vision as you could have. And I think what we did was achieve it, And I think I've said this to you before, Justin. Like there was a slight review, a little review in the Variety that said one of the finer pieces of trash to come along in a while. And I said, okay, we succeeded.
So we actually got a review in Variety. I didn't know that. That's classic. Oh my God.
No, I mean, we didn't. This is not a movie that took itself seriously and failed because it was total cheese. You know what I mean? It's like we knew what we were making. We knew what we were doing.
It succeeded in it as a film as total cheese.
Sorry, considering cheese, I want to segue to Heather because I want to know what that audition was like to read some of those lines with some of the topics that she has to be involved in and all that kind of stuff.
Well, basically, I just walked in and Luca said, "You're Antoinette."
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that. So, like, okay, great. And I was so stoked.
Had you read the script? Did you know the character and what you were going to be involved with?
Well, of course I read the script. I didn't know the extent, like, of the prosthetics and all that, which was amazing and fun. I just was so happy to be cast as Antoinette.
Here's a secret. Here's a secret about casting. This is just my experience. Is that 90% of the time, the minute that person walks in the door. You know it the minute they walk in the door. Now, every now and then, that actor will open their mouth and you'll go, "Oh, okay." But most of the time, at least from my experience, you get them. You just get them right in that moment, and that was absolutely true of Heather. It was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the casting was great, and I mean all these guys, Ryan and Pat Sturgis and Sandy. I mean, they were the people. I mean, they were. They fit into it so well, and and the writing really gave them their exactly what to do.
Got moments, which was nice.
I don't think I even read for the role, did I? Luca?
No, I mean, you were. It was always Antoinette, and like everybody said, the script afforded everybody some memorable moments, you know what I mean, and memorable lines. Everybody got a good one-liner or two or five.
Zingers. Yeah.
And let me say, someone brought up the effects, so you got to give kudos to Chris Nelson. Unfortunately, he wasn't here. And then, of course, Kenny, who wrote, I think, what was the score that needed to be there.
That's already written down. I just haven't segued to Kenny yet. Trust me, it's all here.
It just moved it along, and he found those moments, and you can't. I remember watching, an early draft after we recorded it, and I'm going, this is a whole different thing now. It really, it was, so enhanced, So those, and Wally Pfister, he did a great job, and he went on to be,
big time.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah.
Well, guys, sorry.
Oh, no.
I just wanted to say, Heather, I don't think that they could have ever cast a better person to play Antoinette. I mean, you nailed it, love. 110%.
Oh, yes. Hello?
No, and you had, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go. I said I really appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank you.
Oh, don't touch my stay. You're very welcome. No, I was just gonna say that we had talked a bit ago, and you said that you were a little self-conscious
Ryan,
about your acting.
a question, actually.
Oh, hold on. Let him finish, and then you can ask me whatever you want. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
No, I was just gonna say, Heather, you had made mention to something to the effect that you were a little bit self-conscious about your acting in that in The Granny because it was one of your earlier film roles, but I think you were great. I mean, I paid attention. I paid attention to everything, like the delivery of lines, facial expressions. I think you all did a fantastic job, actually. I mean, it was a dark comedy movie. It wasn't a cinematic classic like the Titanic. I don't know what people were expecting,
Right.
but I think that the acting from everybody was spot on. And for what it was supposed to be, it was perfect.
One thing Antoinette did is, and it played so well against the others, I thought she underplayed Antoinette in a lot of ways, which, allowed, Sandy to be over the top and Ryan, and because I mean, you see her when she puts her arm out, and she's not chewing scenery there, I mean, she's just playing that role. It was great.
Thank
Really.
you.
Yeah,
I'm playing it well.
Well, thanks to Luca, too, and all my castmates.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you guys are awesome.
You had a question. I think somebody was starting to talk, and then is it Brianna?
I think it was Bree. Bree? Was that
Bree?
you?
Okay.
Yes.
Hey.
Come on, Bree, shoot your shot. Say hi to Ryan.
Brianna.
Hey, Bree. What's your question?
Hello, everyone. My question
All right.
is,
Yep.
how was it?
She's a tad
working on
shy.
the
Maybe
movie?
she'll open up a
How
little bit.
was it?
Ryan, Mr.
Yeah.
Bowman. Mr.
Wait,
Bowman.
she was
We
saying
need to
something.
talk
Wait,
green.
hey,
Wait,
Oh,
she was
Justin,
still-
hang
she's
on
still
one
talking.
sec. Hang
One
on,
second, I
hang
was
on
it-
one sec.
How was it working on the film? It was fun. I mean, I remember it happened fast. I just remember after I came in, I kind of remember I found out either that day after I auditioned, and then I went right to the special effects people, and then we started shooting quick because you guys had already kind of had things going before I was involved. But yeah, I had fun. I mean, I grew up watching horror films. They were my favorite. I mean, I was that kid who had monster movie marathons with my best friends, Ian and Wade, and the gorier, the better. You know, it was, I loved horror films. They were my favorite thing. And as a kid, and then having these dreams of someday being in a horror film, and my first film was Children of the Corn 2, and it was amazing. And then this was my second horror film, and I just, because I'm a fan of horror films, it was just a lot of fun to get to be a part of it. And they were totally different, types of horror films. But yeah, I had a blast. It was fun, and I'm very thankful. Thank you, Luca, and thank you, Sam, for casting me, because it was fun. I had a blast, and my fans love Junior. I mean, it's up there. I played a nightmare brat on Mama's Family. I played little Eugene, and Junior was could have been related to him, and it was just fun. It was the character was just I had so much fun playing it. So anyway, I hope that's the question, Bran. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, you have Children of the Corn 2, then you got Granny. We've
yes,
skipped
you
a
did,
major one,
thank
and
you.
even though I know this is
And
Granny chat,
I like
we
that
have to
character
talk about it. And I know a lot of people here
Junior,
want to talk
too.
about it. Only the Strong.
Oh, yeah.
It's
And
got
Micah.
to get mentioned as far as your body of work, things like that.
Yeah, it was,
We may not get another opportunity here.
that was a huge.
Children
That was
of the-
for me. It was my first studio picture, and we shot for 3 months in Miami, and it was truly. I turned 21 while we were shooting it. They trained us for a month and a half, learning all the capoeira moves and how to play the Brazilian instruments and everything else. But yeah, that was truly for me. I'd been on location for Children of the Corn 2, but we shot that also in less than a month. This was a 3-month shoot, so it was just on another scale, and the budget and everything, and it was an actual studio picture. But yeah, that was I look back on that, and that was okay, I look like that at one time in my life. Yes, I mean, it was I was in the best shape of my life, and got to do some show off my gymnastics stuff that I knew when I was a kid and whatnot, and I had a tan, which I am the palest person on the planet, but I specifically got a tan for that film because we shot in Miami in Florida, and that was okay, I can't look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. So anyway,
I have to apologize to you guys because I saw my makeup on from last night, so my bad.
you look great.
Sorry, I don't want to
Me
scare
too,
y'all.
me too, Heather. You're good. Me too.
Thanks.
You're good.
Heather,
You look fabulous.
Heather, you're a girl who could try to look
And
bad,
I
and you
also-
still couldn't look bad.
Thank you,
You're
Ryan.
good.
You're so
You're
sweet.
welcome, great.
Thank you guys.
Your statement.
I appreciate
But
that. But everyone
so-
looks so
So then go back to the question too, because obviously Ryan did great with Junior. What happened with Seth Green? Was he film? Was it airborne?
Oh yeah,
No.
I heard that he got cast in another film or something happened. I don't know all the specifics. That's what my agent told me at the time.
That's what we heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
he was going to be in the film? The
He was
Grant?
he was originally cast as Junior, and then I
Okay,
replaced him when he got a different film.
nice. This timing was, I guess,
The timing was great.
And I was
Yeah.
up against Seth a lot over the years for a lot of different things that
Yeah.
we both
Really?
auditioned for, and it was
You
just,
were friends with him, right?
I heard with Seth, I was like, okay, Seth, we were the same height, and we just physically, we were always up against each other for stuff over the years.
Ryan,
Yeah.
I wanted to.
Excuse
I
me,
wanted to
Ryan.
Sorry.
Said you loved.
Go ahead, Bree.
You said you loved horror films.
Yes, I do. Still do. Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
Favorite horror film? It's a tie. The Shining to me is like the best. I just love that movie.
Yes, I love
and
that
then the
one.
original Halloween, the 1978 Halloween. Like those two, every Halloween, which is coming up in a week, I will be watching both of them again. But for a classic horror film, Psycho. I would say Psycho is my favorite.
Okay.
Older horror film.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's a good one.
Ryan, what do you think of the Halloween reboot trilogy? Did you like
Thank
those?
you. I just wanted to know.
Hold on. Let me answer his question really quick. You know, I didn't love them. I don't know what it is. I'm old school. Like, to me, still, I put Halloween on, and there's moments, and I've seen it 100 times. It still gets me. It's just perfect. It's so good. Anyway, it's just a classic, and I love it. So yeah, remaking it, I wasn't like, I mean, I saw him. I didn't hate him. I just prefer the original. Definitely.
Gotcha, man. Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Candle. We need to
Hello.
chat.
Yes, the Halloween
Hello there.
remake.
All right. So I'm stupid when it
I've-
comes to
I've
making
seen
movies.
those.
Okay, so you
They're okay,
composed
but
the
yeah, I
film.
prefer the
Were
original.
you also responsible for the soundtrack?
The soundtrack meaning what?
Like licensed tracks, like Hard Feelings, things like that.
No, it's totally separate. Yeah, the songs are a whole separate thing. Once in a while, I would have been hired to write some kind of party scene or something like that, where there's a band playing. Actually, Luca, you and I did something together on The Chain, as I recall.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what, but I know we did something together.
We did a cue. We did one cue, one song.
It's kind of funny because those little cheesy things that you just do, it's like a throwaway thing. Those a lot of times royalty wise for composers pay the most because they're considered feature performances. If you see people in the scene doing it, you get like 10 times more money for the thing you worked the least hard on. So it's great to get those things, you know.
So my question for you is, one of the most biggest things for the Granny is that intro, the composition that plays during the beginning credits.
Like
it's almost like Zany Carnival.
The main title, yeah. Well, it's funny how the order you write things in, because in the beginning of getting a movie, it's super overwhelming. You sit there and you figure out where the music goes and you add it all up and go, oh shit, an hour and a half of music and I've got to write it in like 4 weeks or something. And then you divide it by the days and go, I've got to write 2.5 minutes a day. And that's extremely overwhelming. And then you just start writing and you don't really know what you're doing. You kind of play around with it. And a lot of times I'll throw out the first couple of things I do because I'm getting my feet wet. And that's what happened in this one too. I did a couple of cues, then threw them away, started over, and then did the whole movie and then wrote that title sequence at the very end by combining all the elements of the stuff that I had done throughout the movie, as I recall. So it's kind of a weird order.
Okay, so what? The intro came a little later as far as the composition process?
Yeah, like last.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely later. Did you see the film before you made that?
Oh yeah. I had the movie has to be finished before I can start. Otherwise, nothing's going to fit. So I don't start writing until the whole thing is locked as far as the edit goes. And there may be occasionally changes, and then I have to change it. But generally speaking, it's locked before I do anything.
So then what was the inspiration for that main title sequence?
I don't remember. I think Lucas said he wanted it zany, but horror. And it's a weird process because a composer is just sitting there alone in a dark room for like a month. And it's kind of a weird, creepy experience because you have to literally work, 15 hours a day to get it done or you'll get behind very quickly. So it's kind of a weird sensory deprivation process. And you just kind of, you kind of go with your gut. And when it feels right, you sort of feel good at the end of the day. When it feels wrong, you just feel like you're fighting it. And a lot of times it's the tempo that is what you're fighting. Because the editing has a certain tempo, and if you go against that, it can either work to add something or it can fight it. And if you feel you're fighting the tempo of the editing, you're failing. And so you have to just throw it out and start over again.
Editing.
So you make that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Heather.
No, I was saying editing can be very frustrating, and like what he said, I'm starting to do it a little here and there, and it's the timing and all that stuff. I know what you mean. It's very intense and hard.
There's a lot of technical stuff, but you have to get away from the technical stuff and try and feel it. And the best kind of film music doesn't underline what's already there. It adds a separate side, a separate emotion, or a separate thing that expands the movie rather than just underlines it. If you just underline it, it's a little cartoony. So you want to add something that isn't already there, hopefully.
Right. Well, you killed it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So then to kind of move forward from here, you, Sam, and Luca have all then worked on multiple films together.
Luca and Sam and I did two, I think, together. But we've known each other since we were like 14 and 15 years old. We all went to high school. Sam and I went to elementary school together. I've known Sam since 7th grade. He gave me my first joint, and actually it was fake. And I'm going, something's wrong with me. I'm not getting high. And then he started laughing and laughing. It was fake pot.
Like a somatic, right?
That's so awesome.
So we've known each other a really long time.
Guys, you can't be doing that. Afro Man would be so disappointed.
So what are some behind the scenes stories? Stuff that, isn't there that we don't know? Funny bloopers. What's kind of,
Can we talk about?
Oh my gosh, I know.
Food in the dinner table scene and how disgusting it got because
having the spit bucket.
More than one day of shooting, I think I remember, and the smell of that. The first day that we had to eat it was okay, but they didn't. We had the same food, and it was starting to rot because it was hot.
Yeah,
and then it smelled like death. It was like made you want to gag. I mean, it was. And trying to think, like, look, like we're gonna eat it, and it was just, it was that was a memory I'll never forget. And that smell, is a sense memory. Yeah. I can smell it. We all would walk in, and we'd be like,
this is method acting, man. It's method acting. Corpses.
Yeah,
the smell would almost knocked you out. That's how pungent it was. But it was mainly that meat that you see as cut it. That was the worst of the smell. But
it was real too. I mean, I remember after every bite because we were.
It wasn't bad when we were eating it, but it was after we were then shooting multiple takes. It was it was brutal.
That's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I will never forget that. Yeah.
By the way, Wolfgang is the name of the Bercovici family cat. So, so there was an actual Wolfgang cat, not that cat, I don't think, but Wolfgang was a favorite back in the good old days.
Whose cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cat. It was my cat.
Wolfgang was a big fat cat, as I recall.
Yes, he was.
Nice cat, though.
He was born in my bed.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
On Bedford?
No, this is in Topanga.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So so for you, Luca, then there's a lot of little touches too, because I know we've talked about Creechow in the past, and it's one of your kind of favorite hidden drinks. You've got your cat family name in there. What are some other little nods you got hiding in the film that we don't know?
Ooh, yeah, great question.
Oh, there are a ton of there are a ton of sort of Easter eggs, but they're so specific they won't really mean anything to anybody except me. really, honestly.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a big nothing burger. Sorry.
Yeah. You just... All right.
I have. I'm sorry. I have a question for Kendall. I have been trying to find the soundtrack for the Granny for a long time, and for a majority of the songs, I have come up with nothing.
Mhm.
Would it be possible that I could purchase the soundtrack from the Granny from you or from whomever?
I don't have
it
any access
available?
to the songs,
Oh.
so I don't even know where those came from.
Oh man.
I was
I-
looking for it too.
I only have the score, and it's on like a weird digital 8-track thing. But Luca and I are talking to a guy who released another one of my movies on vinyl this last year, and we're hoping he's going to do not only a soundtrack but Luca, you said he wanted to do a Blu-ray version or something?
Yeah, he wants to do. This is TerraVision.
Yeah.
It's like oh my god,
Yeah.
if we can actually have it, available not just for us, but for the people over the years that have kind of fallen in love with the film. I mean, it definitely has a cult following, and that would be awesome. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't
it
support
does,
the
yeah.
Blu-ray. I just want the tape.
In the universe,
No Blu-ray.
make it happen. That would be
So
awesome.
it's early days, but there's hope. I mean, both Ghoulies and Rockula got, in the case of Rockula, multiple Blu-rays, or Ghoulies multiple Blu-rays, but Rockula, which was an unsung film, ended up doing a pretty awesome Blu-ray. So it can be done, and we're going to try and do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
Sammy
I'm
too
sorry
had
if this
Rad.
sounds like.
Say that again.
Sorry.
Sammy too
No,
just
I
had
was just
Rad
saying, I didn't
released
mean-
on Blu-ray.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I said
Rad
that
It's like-
actually got a theatrical release here in Pasadena recently.
Which one?
Sam's movie from what year was that, Sam? Rad?
You're muted, Sam.
You're muted, Sam.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
That was around 85, I think, when Rad was made.
Rat or rat?
Rad,
Rad.
R-E-D, right?
RDT, the
Like as
BMX.
in BMX
Oh, Rad.
bikers. Rad, dude.
Right.
I saw that. I remember I saw that when I was younger. Yeah, I do remember that movie.
I think
And
it's-
Ghoulies. I saw Ghoulies. I definitely saw Ghoulies.
Sammy, you're muted
Can you unmute yourself, Sam? We can't.
on your
I'll
side.
send him a text. I'm not sure he's hearing you.
Sam.
You're muted.
You. We can't hear you.
You gotta press
Someone
your
hold up a
microphone.
sign.
I know. Somebody write something down and be like,
I feel like I'm close enough to Sam that I can call him Sammy. He'll check me if I can't, but
How's that?
I did
There
have
we
a-
How's
go.
that?
I did have a
There
question.
you are.
I wanted
What
to
was the
ask
question?
After this.
we didn't hear any of you. You got to repeat yourself. You were muted the whole time. So,
Oh, what was the question?
Rad was in 1985, I think. That
Rad.
was what you're talking about, Rad.
Okay.
And it got a theatrical in Pasadena just recently, Kendall said.
Well, it got that was actually maybe the riff raff version, but it got a theatrical release in October of 21. It hit 400 theaters.
Really?
Yeah, and came in second for the box office that week behind James Bond.
Nice.
Nice.
You can take me out to dinner.
Yeah, sure. I'm waiting for my check.
Aren't we
so
all?
then my question is obviously Lucas, Sam, Kendall, you guys all grew up together, things like that. Both your parents were in Hollywood and doing films and things like that. Did you kind of just naturally gravitate towards it? You both realized you were the same age, you liked the same things, and it was just like a natural flow into the evolution of film? Like, kind of tell that story a little bit.
Sam and I became friends because we were the little rebels. We were the little long-haired, dirty kids that wanted to get in trouble and didn't like teachers. I was in 7th grade and he was in 8th grade, and he moved from New York. And there was something about Sam. I thought, this guy is lying to me, but I'm not sure what. And he told me how his brother's guitar was this and his brother's guitar was that. And I was like, I think he's lying about that guitar. And it turned out he was lying about the brother. He didn't have a brother.
You're pretty gullible. That's why.
Yeah. And so we hung out a lot.
Yeah, we do. In terms of Luca and I mean, I can't. I work for Luca's father, and
You're right back.
that was a great experience. Luca's father did some gigantic television shows like Shogun and Noble House, and Washington Behind Closed
Doors.
And I always used to bug his father. I would love to.
We all did.
Yeah.
He was kind of a mentor for everybody, for all of us little kids.
Yeah.
And he even let me audition to be the film composer on Washington Behind Closed Doors. And looking back, obviously there was no chance that I was going to get it, but he was really nice about letting me bring my tape recorder into his office and play him some cues. And he was very supportive.
Yeah, he was good to his friends. I mean, he was so. What happened was we were in the same. We were in the same office basically for his dad. His dad hired me as just an all-around sort of script reader. Do this, do that. And Luca and Jeff were around, and then we just, we came. What happened was, I guess it was Dark Tide happened. And
but we were also in a band together. We forgot to bring that up.
That was a long time ago.
We were in a band in about when was that? 1974 maybe. And we would
1973.
Sam was the drummer. Yeah. Luca was the singer. Luca's brother was the bass player, and I was the guitar player. And we would play like Rolling Stone songs. We were called the Barcelloni Brothers. I haven't thought about that for years. And we played at my old elementary school. We even had a little fan club of girls who'd come and wait outside our houses.
Hillary has some pictures of that.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Wow, I would love to see that.
Yeah. He wouldn't give me one. He said you have to make a copy.
Then, wait, what was I going to say? I can't remember now.
So that everybody. Oh, go ahead. Ken.
I was going to say, Luca, the first time we met, or the first time I remember you, was we were in an African studies class together in the summer. Do you remember that class? It was in that big multi-purpose room thing that was like a theater stadium seating kind of thing. And I don't remember anything else except that I got in trouble when I went to the zoo to see some African thing. And everything was about getting in trouble back then.
What did you do?
I think the teacher scolded me, and then I flipped him off when his back was turned, but the bus driver narked me out.
Oh, no.
So Julie, is this gonna be live? Is this gonna be available?
Yes, it is. It's currently live on YouTube, and it's going to be recorded and available afterwards.
Are there other people watching this of the non-panel members?
That's what I was wondering.
They are if they're on the Discord watch party. I'm not sure if anybody's watching on the YouTube channel. I can look, but it will be recorded as well.
But the whole thing will be on from beginning to end?
Yes.
Right.
I had a couple
Thanks for putting this together, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay. This was so much fun.
Justin and
Thank you
Julie.
for sharing your story.
Amazing stuff.
About
who would have thunk?
The memories and what that was. That was really cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Happy to share.
Yes.
I mean, this is a great recap of a memory for me because I was sorely disappointed because I spent some time shopping a distribution deal, and it came close a couple of times, and it went on and on for months, and it didn't happen. So I went away from the Grammy with that bad taste in my mouth. And this
We
is
saw
great.
it on big screen though at Raleigh Studios.
We saw it on a projector.
Oh, I remember it was a big.
It was. It was a big screen projector.
Yeah, that's cool.
Did we make a 30? Yeah, we did make a 35 millimeter.
I do remember.
Where's that print, Sam? Where is it?
It was in the showroom room, wasn't it?
I know. I know where it is. It's just getting to it. It's really hard. Sherwood. Maybe we should get in touch. Because Robert keeps telling me talk to you.
Was there a film element, or did we do it on video post? I mean,
Well,
shot.
I think we did do it on video post, but there's a whole. Robert claims there's a whole storage with all the films.
I mean, we shot it on film.
Wasn't
you
there
would know.
on VHS or something like that? Then you projected it onto the screen. I kind of remember that. Correct, at the screening that we had.
It was. I don't think it was VHS exactly. I think it was.
Okay.
That would have been 3/4 inch or.
Something, okay, right. But it was. I remember it being like behind us.
It wasn't digital. That's for sure. But I don't know, Sherwood. Robert says you might have a clue to where a lot of this stuff might be stored.
Because it said that the post production was an Anderson Video, which was on the Universal lot. I think that we had transferred all the dailies off of film to like digital Betacam or something like that, and then we online the film from there. So I don't think we ever cut negative on the show.
No, you might not have, but I mean, still, that stuff would be great, and even like people asking about the knife, the swords and stuff. I mean,
Sherwood, what were you cutting on? What NLE were you cutting on then? That was
we didn't start Avid until around the next film or so. I think we were cutting on D-Vision at the time, which is
D-Vision. That's right.
Early NLE.
Do you remember that the 9 gig drive was like $9,000 or something like that?
Back in those days, 9 gig was several thousand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing.
I bought 18 terabytes for $300 last week. 18 terabytes is like the whole world's library.
Right.
Yeah.
Julie, did you have questions or something too? Because I feel like you haven't gotten to talking. You had posted something that I saw up there saying that you had some questions or something that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I had a couple of them. One of them was, you got to tell me about the mink scene. That was one of my favorite scenes as a kid. So I'm interested in like how you did the puppetry, how you did the special effects with the neck and everything. How did that go?
That was all Chris Nelson.
all Chris Nelson.
Yeah, all Chris Nelson, and he did both, the ferret or whatever that was, the mink, and the eyes that lit up, because everything is on camera. There's zero outside of the superlative video effects that Sherwood did for the opening title. Everything else was basically, and the Kui Chow effects and the sword effects, all that stuff. Super lovely, cheesy as they were.
I thought there was one shot in a box. There was one shot in a box. I can't remember which one. It might not have made it in.
Really, I don't remember. Anyway, they came up with the puppet, mink with the glowing green eyes, and then all the rest of it was like your standard garden variety latex and blood and lots of blood and camera movement, and it was messy but fun.
I remember getting my arms stuck together after shooting, because they would get that big gun and spray me, with blood, and then literally my arms would just stick together. It was so funny, but actually not really. There was one part.
About this. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, whose idea was the mink part? Like, who came up with like the fur coat should come alive? Which one of you came up with
No, that was in the script. That was in the original script. I mean, that was, it was, and it's set up all the way through. It's like
Yeah.
she yells at what's her name for trying on her mink, but before she's even dead.
Right.
And so that was all the gags. were set
I
up.
mean, this stuff doesn't happen contiguously. We figure out the best deaths for the characters, and then work that in. It's not like I mean, we knew that Albert had to die in the chair, right? Because his loser, he was a loser to his father, and I mean those are all very character based.
Oh, nice. And then guy with the dragon tattoo, I think you had something.
Hi, Mike.
Yes. Thank you. Hey, Heather. No, I was just going to say, to this very day, 28 something years later, you are still the only girl that I've ever encountered that is beautiful as a zombie.
Oh, thank you. You're
Every other
sweet.
zombie I've seen, the last thing I think is pretty, but somehow you pulled it off.
Well, thanks to the special effects people for that one. But thank you. That's really sweet of you to say. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Another question was how did y'all do Granny's voice?
It's a good question.
That was okay. So she had her granny voice, but then
Yes.
when she turned into Granny, it
We
was
enhanced it,
augmented.
yeah.
Yeah, we enhanced it with all kinds of outboard kind of low. I think we pitched her down and gave her some gravelly stuff, some distortion.
She sounded like a female Freddy Krueger.
That would be a lot easier today than it was then, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It was cool. I liked it.
All right.
One of the first taglines they were talking about was Freddy Krueger and Jason had mothers too.
Wah, wah. No, I'm kidding.
That's
I have a quick question.
I have a question.
Right. Boom, boom.
Sorry.
Hang on, Dragon. Let Sherwood go, please.
Oh no, just a quick question. I was always curious about what Luca's doing nowadays. Luca, are you in Europe still?
No, I'm in Doha, Qatar.
Oh wow! You've had quite a legacy after this set of films.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way of putting it. That's one way of putting it. Like there is, I'm wearing various hats and doing various things. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I wanted to swing back real quick to the deaths, right? Because if you look at every death, it's all related to either the person's interest or their profession, right? Lenny the Mortician dies by his tools. Albert dies by his tools. Brant dies.
Dies getting what he wants.
The uncle dies by yeah.
Right. So, was that all intentional as far as either the way the person died was something either they cared about, their job, that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying before, is that everything was drawn from
their character.
Yeah, everything is drawn from the character. I mean, Andrew's in love with furs. Ryan Jr. is a wrestling freak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything is thought out.
I do have a question, guys, about one death scene. For Antoinette's death scene, I mean, it shows her, dancing in front of the mirror, looking at herself. She really liked her appearance. That was pretty clear that she was a character that was kind of on the vain side. I caught that vibe, but it never actually showed how she died. I mean, the way I took it is that off screen she was possessed by Granny. Is that what happened?
Sure. That's
That
sure. That's pretty good. Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. That's a good
Okay.
explanation, right? No,
That's
Right.
fair.
that's in
Yeah.
fact that's made it into the canon. That's what happened. That's how it happened.
Honestly, somebody else had asked me that same question, and that's what I assumed. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's
mean,
what happened.
There she is. There she is in front of the mirror, and Granny comes, down in the window.
And
So we
that's
know something's going to happen.
Seriously, like that. I
Yeah,
love that.
like Granny's contagious, and it's
Yeah.
osmosis.
I remember
Yeah.
that was a tricky shot
How
to.
did you shoot that, by the way? How did you do her coming through and you see the granny in the window behind her at the mirror? It's such a great shot. I love that. How did you guys do that? I wasn't there
that was
I didn't see it.
that was
Wally did that.
that was in post. That was in
Yeah.
post. Sherwood. That had to have been in post.
Okay.
But the actual
Still
mirror
a great shot. It looks great.
was
Yeah,
shot
She did
upstairs.
it right side up, and we turned it upside down in that square.
That's what I
Right.
thought. I mean, that's what I guessed. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Then, since we're talking deaths and something doesn't make sense to me, because if we're following, Granny canon, all right, what happened with little Amy? Because Amy came under the power of Granny, then doesn't have the power of Granny. Then, as we're leaving, you pop back up again after you supposedly died, and then Amy pops off that she's still possessed and there's still something going on.
The Queechel lives forever. What can I tell you?
Is that what we're going with for that one? I wish Samantha could be here, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Did we shoot two endings or something?
No, we didn't. Listen, enough happened with Amy. There was enough handoffs with Amy so that anything could have happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But listen, it's a mystery. It's a movie. It's the Queechao.
It's in the bloodline.
The Revenge of Amy.
Yeah.
It's in the bloodline. I mean, we never had a problem with that because, you can go into all kinds of rest, how she's young and vulnerable and all, she's the one open to it. You can research what's there and create a whole history if you had to.
Popped up and she wasn't able to join us today, unfortunately. But
yeah, that's really.
We're thinking of you and we miss you.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll send her a copy of this, you guys.
We'll send her a link.
Well, of course, I wanted to know what you guys did to her on set because she has no other acting credit besides the Granny.
Well, how would you tell that's the only movie you made?
Very good character.
Like, this is it.
And then
she's
gone.
Perfect.
Yeah, she was really great to work with. She's totally professional.
Sweet kid.
For a good actor,
Sweet girl.
She was great.
Very sweet.
So listen, I'm going to take off, guys, but thank you for doing this.
All right, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you so much for joining
Okay,
us.
Sammy.
Yeah, thanks so
Talk to you
much.
soon, Sam.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks, man.
Have a good
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's fun.
And,
Bye. Luca, it looks like Taylor had a question for you. Taylor, can you unmute?
Okay.
Yeah. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
we
All
can
right,
hear you.
cool. Yeah. Kind of a small question, maybe, but I was actually kind of curious, Luca. Was it challenging and being so heavily involved in the climax as one of the stars?
Yeah. I hated it. And it wasn't originally my intention. It wasn't my intention to play the Mon Ami, and Sam and the other producers insisted that I do it, and I said, okay, I will, and it was really fucked up, and because it's 18 days, you're just blazing through stuff, and so. When I'm in front of the camera, I'm really thinking about other stuff. So I wasn't really, to be honest with you, I wasn't really 100% present in front of the camera, and I'm not, ashamed to admit that. But it was I didn't enjoy that part of it at all.
Who knew?
I can imagine you had a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of gears turning, a lot of moving parts.
Well, and I remember
Yeah,
we were shooting on such a tight schedule. We didn't do a lot of takes. I do remember that. I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom. We had to keep it moving. We got to knock this out. But you know,
I mean, really, when you
one or two takes for sure, obviously, but
yeah,
we didn't do like 20 takes of something.
no.
There
I
was
mean,
not.
when you look at everything that went into that movie, and then you realize that it was 3 6-day weeks, you know, and it was like, yeah,
It was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot.
It was awesome.
Yes.
For my first movie, you know.
Is that your first movie, Heather? I didn't realize that.
Well, I had a part in Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Okay.
But that was my first film.
You were the Annihilator girl in Beverly
That's
Hills
right.
Cop 3. I remember that.
Yeah. That was fun. John Landis directed it. It was cool. He also did Tales from the Crypt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were also in, prior to the Granny, Heather, you had a cameo in Silence of the Hams.
I did. I can't find that movie.
I watched it a couple months ago, and I saw you, and I was like, that looks
Yeah.
like Heather. And I did some research, and it was you.
Yeah. That was fun too, actually. We had a very
It looked like a fun movie.
Yeah, colorful cast. Yeah, that was fun.
Kendall and Luca, you guys said that they are working on releasing the Granny on DVD or Blu-ray. Is that what you all said? Or
Hopefully, we don't know yet. It's a matter of
got you, but
securing all the rights from whoever owns them and all that. Luca, you might know more
as
about
for
that than I do.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But for the soundtrack, you guys said that's still pretty much in limbo.
Yeah.
I like to see a gag reel.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Blooper reel would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that exist, Sherwin?
I don't remember if we made one or not. That's so long ago.
Actually, I think there could be. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think there might be some kind of outtake or something like that. And the reason why I say that is because I saw a box cover, a VHS box cover, that had some scenes, pictures on the back where it describes the movie that were not actually in the movie. Like there was a scene with Antoinette and David's characters that I know was not in the movie itself. So I think there could be something like that.
Well, they could have been stills from the set.
The stills were shot separately by the set photographer, probably. So might have been something specifically for a still.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There has to be funny outtakes from the dining scene.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That would be great.
Eating that delicious food.
Oh, so yummy.
Smelled like that.
Yeah.
I think Stella had some fun with her husband puppet occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do
It
remember
was
that.
amazing to work with.
Who made
Such
the
a
puppet?
Tyrus
Was that
got
the
all
same
the
guy?
love for Tyrus.
That was Chris Nelson.
Again, yeah.
Did he do Crypt Keeper? Also?
I
have to
don't
double check.
know.
Yeah. Maybe.
One thing I do remember, and I don't know if you remember this, Heather, but maybe Luca remembers too. Craft service was almost not happening. And if for those of you that don't know, craft services like snacks and whatnot, but I do remember there was this jumbo, I mean, we're talking this big thing of pretzels. And it was, and there was like a second one under the table just in case we ate all the pretzels. But I don't know why I remember that, but I was just like, it was just gigantic, just the
I
biggest
do
thing of
remember now.
and water. And it was like, some of us were just like, how can you eat pretzels with just water? Like we needed soda or something anyway. But it was just, I just remember that. And I was like, that's our craft service. I'm like, I'm hungry. I want some pretzels today.
Yeah.
It was like, it was
I remember,
enormous. It was almost as big as me at that time. It was a giant, big vat of pretzels.
Was that in the makeup trailer? Oh no, you said under the table.
It was under like the craft service table that had like water, and then
I remember in the back of the house.
say that again.
In the back.
In the back. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just that was one of the funny things that I've like. Why I remember that I don't know, but I just remember the giant thing of pretzels.
I remember asking Luca, I think on our last day, to take the contacts out. I'm like, can I take these out? And he's, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were filming, it was our last day.
They were horrible. I said, the contacts are not fun. They're hard to deal with.
They're old school.
Hard or soft ones? I had hard ones when I did.
I had hard.
Oh, it was like bugs in your eyes every time I blinked, and had to do steroid treatment afterwards. But yeah, not super fun. So I feel your pain.
So let me ask this too. Obviously, the film is close to 30 years, things like that. Did we have friends, family members watch the film? Did we get any fun reactions of, people actually sitting through it and, kind of enjoying it? Did anybody have any funny stories in regards to that?
My daughter hasn't seen it because it's hard to find. So, but that's the only reason.
I had friends that saw it. I don't think I let my mom watch it because and I don't know if I had my dad watch it just because they were very brought up religious and everything else. So it was like same thing that I ran into with Children of the Corn too, going back home to the Southern Baptist church that I grew up in and getting the dirty looks from everybody in the pews like, oh, he's a devil worshiper. And I'm like, no, it's acting. But I don't know if I shared it with my parents just because of their kind of religious backgrounds and whatnot, and they weren't huge horror fans. I don't even know. I know my mom saw Children of the Corn 2, but I don't even know if my dad ever saw Children of the Corn 2. So anyway, but my friends saw it and they enjoyed it, and a couple of them came to the screening that we had that we were talking about earlier. So
yeah, I had a friend come too. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, and had fun.
Me too.
Well, I think maybe that's all of our questions.
I think so. Anybody else?
I was waiting for the Luca reaction. He's being awfully quiet.
I feel like I am too. I don't know. I hope I'm not.
Family, not so much. Friends, yeah.
Right.
I think I sort of mentioned this in the preamble. I mean, this movie took its time because it really didn't get a release for all intents and purposes, right? It never went on DVD. It took time for the film to get what audience that it has today, and the people who gravitated towards it, the Julies of the world and the Justins of the world. So it wasn't really something that it's so niche. It's so niche. So it wasn't really something that, I don't think any of I don't think my mom ever saw it. I don't think my dad ever saw it,
This is the first time I've ever seen it.
Really? This is the first time you've ever seen it?
Except when I was working on it. No, well, I guess I saw it at the screening, but this is the first time I've seen it after whenever it was, 85 or 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
It's been a while.
How was that 30 years ago? It's crazy.
I think it's awesome. I really do. I see a lot of movies, and watching that, I thought, wow, really cool. For real. Super cool. Good job, Luca, and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
all right,
and
last
listen,
but not least, because I feel like we're getting to the wrap up too. Go ahead, Luca.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, I just want to say, as part of the wrap up, is that I really, really, first and foremost, I haven't seen Sherwood in a long, long time, but Sherwood and I worked on 2 movies together, and I think and he's moved on to bigger and better things. But I think that he did a fantastic job on the Granny, and he totally got it. And Kendall, as Heather said, you killed it, and it was, and it was just such a wonderful kind of thing, because we have that history, for us to have worked on, and for us to be here talking about it all these years later is fucking awesome.
We're still alive too.
We all have
And we're still alive. And to Julie and Justin for being sort of like the insane fans who actually put this together, because if left to my own devices, I probably would not have said, hey, let's do a live stream and Q&A on the Granny. I just don't see that happening. And so God bless you guys for doing that and doing everything that it took. And it wasn't easy, and I know that because I was part of the process, but you figured it out, and it was awesome. So I want to just say thank you so much.
To be
willpower
for Justin and Julie, like, what you did in organizing this was like beyond and so cool. But what's even cooler is just the fact that there's people like you out there that really do love the movie.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've kind of gotten to know you, Justin, and it's just like, it's cool, to just, you do stuff as an actor and you don't know how people are going to react to it, or if they're going to like it or hate it or think it's stupid or whatever. And just to know that there's some diehard fans out there that love this movie, it's awesome. So thank you for being you and for loving the film, supporting it over the years, and being a fan. It's just, it's really
we
cool.
really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
much.
man.
It really means a lot,
Thank
because
you.
I had no idea that if you had told my 12-year-old self that I'd be talking to all of you doing a Q&A, I would have just fainted. So I'm just really excited that this all came together. Whenever I pitched the idea to Luca and he said sure, I was like, oh my god, this is actually going to happen. And whenever we started getting the cast and crew together, I was just so giddy, and it's just so awesome talking to all of you. And
it almost feels surreal, doesn't it?
It does.
Wildfire catching on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a blast getting to revisit this and to kind of see you all again and then meet some of the fans and talk with you guys. I mean, it's
wonderful.
It's why we do what we do sometimes. It's just to it feels good to know that there's people out there that like what you're doing. So thank you.
Can I ask you all a quick question? Where are each of you located right now?
I'm in LA.
Oh, sorry.
I'm in San Diego.
San Diego?
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Were you asking all of us?
Everybody. I'm just curious. It's such a worldwide thing. I'm curious where everyone is.
That's a good question. Justin, where are you from?
I'm in Florida.
Now?
Florida.
You're in Florida right now? Okay.
Where
Julie,
in Florida?
I'm in Atlanta.
Okay. Two Southerners.
Nice.
And Luca, where did you say that you are? Because you said it and I didn't understand, or I didn't hear it. Say it again.
I'm in Doha, Qatar.
Okay, got it.
I'm in the Middle East.
Wow. Be careful.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Crazy times right now.
Crazy.
Oh.
Anybody else that didn't share that wants to tell us where you're at?
Julie, where are you?
Yes, sir. I am in Delaware.
Delaware.
Okay. Julie said Atlanta. I heard. Yep.
Sherwood.
I'm in Los Angeles. In Glendale.
Okay.
And
I'm in Pasadena. Where are you?
Me?
Yep.
LA.
Oh, you're in LA. Okay.
Yeah. Venice.
Okay.
I do want to speak up about one thing. So Delaware is oftentimes on the brunt of jokes about being a boring state, like in Wayne's World. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but if you actually get up off your butt and go look for things to do, it's actually a pretty fun state, and there is a ton of hidden gems out there.
I'm in California.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Another Californian.
But
Is that Brianna?
about 2 hours away from San Diego.
Oh.
Yep.
We have people from Missouri, Georgia, Oregon, and Germany.
Really?
Missouri. I'm born and raised St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a Missouri kid.
What time is it, Luca, in Qatar?
It's 10 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch, and I know, like I've talked to I think all of you at some point, and the other people, Ryan over the years has blessed me to like put up with my fandom and my raging things, and it was even
You
amazing
helped
to
me
send
get
me.
Now it's about
get
to
a poster of the granny.
noon.
So that was like the first time that we kind of had a connection. And I have it framed in, this is like my movie room, but there's an extension of it where my laundry room has become a movie room, and my giant, the granny poster, thanks to you, because I saw him post it. I was like, oh my God, I want one of those. How did you find that?
I have a granny poster too, I think.
Say that again?
I have a huge granny poster here.
Yep, I got it. It's
It
the
was
one with
hanging in my studio for about 10 years.
granny in the background. But yeah, I'm thankful
Before we
you helped me find that.
before we move on, hey Rochelle, is there anything you wanna like jump in here? Because you raised your hand.
Oh, yep, I see that.
Rochelle, you got a question?
I was just gonna say Wisconsin is all.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Oh,
All right.
Wisconsin. Okay, cool. Wisconsin. Awesome.
Green Bay.
I love the accent, Wisconsin accent. Love it. Wisconsin. Yeah.
I also have a speech impediment, so
No, but I'm saying I love accents, and I
Yeah.
love North Dakota and all of the different states that have a very specific accent. I've like been able to do a couple accents over the years in movies, and I just love accents. So anyway, that's why I was saying it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah. I love the movie Fargo.
Yeah, that's a classic. That is.
Yeah.
Really, I just watched that like a year ago, and I hadn't seen it in probably 20 years. Such
Yeah.
a great. Still stands up. It's so good. Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just Ryan obviously sending me that 8x10, and the collection has kind of made its rounds, things like that. But
You have an amazing collection, by the way.
thank you.
If you guys haven't seen this collection, you've got to like check out and see. It's like unbelievable. Your granny collection.
Well, it's weird because you're known as the granny guy. That's your online nickname, is you're the granny guy. So it's kind of, but the collection aside, things like that. When I tell you that when people attach the things and they love things, I don't want to say that the granny raised me, but I was a video store kid, so there wasn't a weekend that went by that the granny was not in my 5. We did 5 movies for $5 for 5 days, and I'll tell you what, the granny was always there every weekend. And for a lot of years I cherished the film. Everybody knows how much I love the film. And truly, just thank you. For me,
Thank
man,
you.
a lot of my sense of humor and things like that I get from that movie. I am incredibly sarcastic,
Great
very much a
one-liners.
smart ass, and have kept it kind of tranquil for this, but most people will tell you that it's probably pretty relative. So yeah, thank you guys for the film. That's honestly, it really impacted my life, and it still does now. I'm 38. I'm a father, you know what I mean? And it's still a prevalent part of my life. So, thank you very much.
You're a diehard fan. Thank you.
you.
Actually, it's
Cool.
funny, man. You were talking about how you were always renting the VHS of the granny, but at the local video store close to where it used to be close to where I live at. I rented the hell out of the granny all the time. And when I went up to rent it one day, I asked the clerk out of curiosity. I said, "Hey, man, who's the last person that's rented this movie?" And he pulled up on the computer, and it was me, like every time for the past 2 years.
That's awesome.
Great. That's so great.
Right on, Mike.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, you guys, this has
Thank
been
you,
fun.
everybody. That was fun.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for doing
Be safe, and
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome to see you all again.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Julie.
Bye.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Oh,
Justin,
so
for making this happen. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So excited.
Thank you, guys.
Woo.
All right.
course.
Bye, everybody.
Wonderful day.
Bye, guys.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Talk soon.
Actually, Heather,
Yes,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, love. I wanted to shoot you a message on inbox on Instagram. Cool.
Yeah, of course.